Hello there, welcome back to Simon Shed. It's time for another Z21 video. This is the DCC system that I use, and this time it's all about double heading. So yeah, had some requests for that and some requests for sort of CV programming, and decided to take the easier and probably more fun option and do the double heading first. So yeah, this is part 4 in the Z21 series, and I'm going to show you there's quite a few steps to get double heading up and running smoothly with the Z21. So let's take a look. So to set up double heading, we need to go into vehicles and press the plus, and this time we're going to add a new train rather than a new loco. So we're going to call this something call it diesel double. You can give it a category if you want to organize them. And we'll set it to active, but it won't let us do that. So over here on the right, you simply select the locos that you want in the double header. So we'll do that, and you notice it says check traction settings. We'll come back to that in a moment, but that's essentially what you do. And obviously in the normal way you can add a photo. We'll leave that blank for now, but that's it in terms of setting up the double header. And then you'll notice that that appears here. So we've got the two trains. You'll notice that one's actually running round because I've just getting that running, getting that warmed up and getting the track cleaned off. But if I were to now control this, you can see that it's set both of them. So we're controlling both locos with this one control. However, that's not the end of the story, because different locos run at different speeds, even for the same controller position. So what you need to do is go back into vehicles, and we'll pick one of our locos, and then along the top you can see traction. No traction entries available. And if you press the plus in the bottom right corner, you'll see it wants you to enter regulation step and a time. So what you have to do is time the loco around a fixed distance. So I'm going to do 1 lap of my track at different speeds, and then if you do that for all of the locos in your double header, I say double header, it could be triple or quadruple, then that will help them to all run at the same speed when you're actually controlling them via that one control. So I think it's time to get the stopwatch out and time some locos. It's also worth noting, before I forget, that notice it does say regulation step. Well, that relates to the speed display, so you have to go into here and set the speed display to regulation step for the relevant locos, so that when you time them you can see it's step 35, for example, on this one. So let's stop that. We'll get the class 57 back to the start. And as I say, we'll get the stopwatch out. So I think I'm going to do a sort of slow speed, a medium speed and a high speed, but obviously the more data points you add, the better the double header is going to be in terms of matching the speed of the other locos. Well, nothing's changed. No, they're definitely diesels. Yeah, a bit of explaining to do. It's 4 days later. I was hoping to have this video edited by now and put it out today, but never mind. So what I did was, as I said, I timed the diesel locos going around the track, and that took quite a while, because at the slower speed steps, 1 lap was taking like 7.5 minutes. So obviously to put in sort of 4 or 5 data points for both locos took a while, and I sort of missed the stopwatch and had a derail, which meant I had to do it again. Anyway, got them all done, and I put the locos like this, not connected together but close to each other, and then ran the train thinking they would then run at the same speed, setting up the sort of shot to say, look, it's all brilliant, it works. And it just didn't work at all. They were completely different speeds. So I did a bit of research and found an article on Roco's website which pretty much said I was doing it the correct way, but they use a much shorter run, so that didn't really explain the speed difference. So then I tried timing them again and got completely different results, certainly for the class 24, and couldn't figure out why. So I did it again and got different results again, and figured out that in one direction it's a lot faster than in the other direction for some reason. So I thought it's important to mention that and be aware, because it kind of breaks the way we're doing it, because you can only put in one set of timings. You can't put in a set of timings for forward and a set of timings for backwards. So if your loco, I mean, that's what I was thinking with that's why I've switched over to the steam trains. Obviously we know which way they're pointing, it's a lot easier to tell. So I've timed those going forwards. I haven't tested whether these particular locos go at different speeds forwards and backwards. And when I say different speeds, obviously I mean for exactly the same setting on the throttle, you just leave the throttle where it is and then press forwards and backwards, and they're clearly going at very different speeds. So as I say, I haven't tested that on these. I will just measure the forward speeds and use the forward speeds. And I have, based on this article that I found on Roco's website, I'll show you on the iPad in a second, but I've done sort of speed step 10, 20, 40, 60 and 80, and I've done a much shorter run. So it's just from that yellow marker there just down to here where the other yellow marker is behind the glute. So that means I don't have to stand here for 7 or 8 minutes waiting for the the locos to come around. So let's have a look at the iPad. So let's go back into vehicles and select the Ginty. You can now see in traction I've timed it at regulation step 10, 20, 40, 60 and 80 as they suggest, and put in the times there over the shorter timing run, and for the IVET, so you can see there at regulation step 10 the IVET's a lot slower, So now we've got those set up, and we've got our train changed over with the Ginty and the Ivet selected. And now essentially you hook them together and run them. I can hopefully demonstrate. If we set our train going, they are going at the same speed. And obviously it'd be better if they were connected together. And the Ginty needs a bit of a clean. But you get the idea. So now that we've got the timings in, I'm going to select our Sublime steam train on both throttles, and here you can switch between the locos within the train, and you should see, for example, the Ginty's on speed step 15, but the Ivet is on 18, so it's sort of compensated for the speed difference. And now the Ginty's on 65 and the Ivet's on 57. So as it climbs, you see it needs to give the Ginty a bit more juice to make it keep up with the Ivet. But actually, at slow speeds, it needs to give the Ivet a higher speed step to make it move at the same speed as the Ginty. So that's really all it's doing. It's using those timings to compensate for the difference in the speeds of the locos. And yeah, that's good, especially if they go the same speed forwards and backwards. So that's how it works. The more timings you put in, the more accurate that sort of speed curve will be. But the ones I've put in seem to be working absolutely fine, and it just sort of prevents the, one loco spinning its wheels and the other loco crawling along. I think it's time to hook up some coaches and have a few shots of our double header actually running after all that effort. Go. I think it was worth it in the end. So thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.